What a summer!
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret? Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do? The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good evening, viewers of UBC. I'm Magero Christopher of Vunjeru Technical Services. I'm the Managing Director. I'm here to take you through the journey of Vunjeru Technical Services. We started way back in two sides. Surely we started as a shop, a small shop. And because we didn't have capital, we started just like a dealers anyway. Because we were dealing in spare parts, but because we didn't have the capital, we could get from our colleagues, then we sell to our customers, then we started developing slowly by slowly until we became a big shop now as we are. So our objective of starting this business, we found that there was a need in this region for supply of spare parts of engineering plants and the services, because by that time we used to have like one or two companies which were doing that job in the whole country, and we found that really if we entered in this business we would bring the service closer to our customers. And because we are just down to earth and on the ground, we can even reach deeper to our customers than those other bigger companies which thought that the customers had to come to them for the services. So we can go to the customers and inspect to see what really the customers want. Then we do exactly what they want and we bring the service to their premises instead of them following us to our shops and our business. So by so doing, it has helped to expand our business because we really have bigger sales by so doing. So our main objectives in this is to see that our customers really get satisfactory service from us, and we also offer after-sale service that wherever we sell our part, to know how they perform, how they appreciate, which complaints they give to us, so that we can make changes in accordance to what they may need. So it has the activities that we are doing, we have actually managed to expand this business from spare parts and services to engineering plants themselves, because now we have bought the engineering plants for hire. We can hire out these machines to whoever may need to hire. Like when somebody wants to make a grading of the land, we can go and inspect the place. Then we know which machinery exactly is needed to do that particular work. And being that now we have more machines, we assure our customers that in case there is a breakdown, we have the engineers who can make the services promptly. So it has helped us a lot to have our customers closer to us. We have like the excavators, the bulldozers, the rollers, the wheel loaders, and we have sets so that when we give you a wheel loader, you are downtime. So that if the problem is bigger, we replace the machine immediately as we repair the other. Meanwhile, we sell the spare parts ourselves, so it doesn't give us headache because the spare parts are ours. So in case the machine needs spare parts, we deliver immediately. In case the problem is bigger, then we replace the machine as we repair the other. So really it has helped bring us closer to our customers. Some of the achievements where we have got from this is that really our relationship with the customers is now deeper, and because of that trust that they give to us, we have managed to do better, bigger business than what we thought we would do. Because of the trust that they have entrusted in us, and because of due diligence and being considerate to downtime, because we consider our customers that they should not have that downtime when they are dealing with us. So when somebody is with us and we are the ones providing the services to that person, we make sure that we minimize the downtime, which has actually helped us to have our customers closer. Now, like the machines we have, we know, but they don't know which machine exactly has to do that work better. So like a bulldozer levels a ground which is really difficult for either construction. There might be some stones. So if somebody wants to level that ground, we don't use a grader. We can use a bulldozer, because a bulldozer is most likely to do heavier work than a grader. Then other customers may need like a grading places for construction, but we might find that if we bring a grader, the grader, a grader machine, it has to be bigger. But the customer might come and say, I need a grader to grade my plot. Now a plot of 50 by 100, the grader cannot do this work because the length of the machine itself will not have the turning place. So we advise the customers on which machine to use in accordance with where he wants it. Like he might need to compact somewhere, but he thinks that maybe the tires of a wheel loader can compact better, but we advise the customer that no, we have a compactor machine. After the grader has graded the place, then we can bring the compactor and it will do the work better than any other machine. So we give also advice to our customers, to tell us what he wants. Then we can send our experts to the site to see what exactly has to be done. Then we advise the customer in accordance to what has to be done. So in so doing, the customer eventually appreciates after work. And we also give the after sale service. Like when we are selling the spare parts, we advise you on how to install. If you have your mechanics or engineers who can install them better, we can also advise. But if you have them that you don't need our advice, we come and see after that, when you installed, how did the machine perform? Because, but in case you don't have the engineers and the mechanics to do that work for you, we can supply the parts, fit them, test the machine, and really leave you with a contented heart that what we have done is satisfactory. Now, sometimes we get some challenges that most of our customers have cash. So because we have dealt with them for some time, they come for credit. And in so doing, when you give them on credit, they feel that really they are at home. But eventually, you find that you may need to replace the stock, because we sell to replace. And now when you sell to replace and you sell to a customer who does not pay you cash and eventually take longer to give you the money, you find that the business is being stalled in so doing. Sometimes we give to our customers services and they take a lot of time to pay. Sometimes they explain to us and we understand. They say sometimes they are also being paid contractors in the quarter, the ministry is in the quarters, but sometimes they don't give enough money because, according to our tax compliance, sometimes the government doesn't get enough taxes to give the money to the entities, to the government entities. So the government entities, sometimes our customers work for those entities. So when the government entities doesn't get money in time from the government, they also don't pay our customers in time. So our customer, that chain comes back to us, that we also take long now to get the money. But the challenge we get, we can sympathize with them and hold on to make some demands. But the challenge we get is that some customers, when they get the money, because the money, they think that now that is their money. So they feel that when they give it to you, they are making losses. Yet they forget that by giving them on credit, you contributed in their getting the money that they are getting. But when they get the money, they think it is their money, so they have the authority to see who to pay and who not to be paid. So those are some of the challenges that we get when we sell on credit. And you cannot avoid it, because if your customer pays in cash, like for months, and then he comes on credit, he will give you explanation as to why he's not paying in cash. But when you go by his, sometimes they fail us. Now, we got some challenges when we were affected by COVID-19. By that time, the business was actually flowing. But up to now, we got some defects that even some of our customers have not paid from that time up to now, giving us reasons that they were affected by COVID-19 and their business stalled during that time. And up to now, they have not regained the business. But during that time, we were actually affected, that we had some business which was going on, and we had not even accomplished the work during that time, and the movement was banned. So we could not move to those places where we were working, and some of the work that we were doing, actually we could not do it again, because we had opened some other things which had to get spoiled. And because it was for our customers, they could bear with us. But by the time they allowed us to start working, some of those parts were spoiled completely, and our customers could not rebuild their machines back. So it really affected us badly, that we were not paid for the work we did and for the supplies, because our customers also lost. And we could see that really they were telling us the truth. So that effect really affected us so much. And like in my company, I have some workers that I had to maintain. I had to lay off some of them, but I had to maintain others that if I could lose them, it really gave me hard time that I had to maintain them through all that period. They could get, their families could get sick. I had to offer help, and in order that I don't lose them. And by that time, the government could not give us some help, like they could only give us food, and that food tells somebody that is sick, and now you give portion beans and you think it is okay. So really, it affected us so greatly, and it brought us backwards. But so by the time we had to resume, it could take us like another 2 years just to go back to the step where we were. So if it was not by COVID-19, we would be far by now. But because we had to be retarded like 2 years backward, now it is giving us another hard time to catch up with what we used to do. Now, if really government could help us, like we heard that the government put some programs for helping the small enterprise corporations and so on, but we don't know where to find those people. We don't know how to start it. And you find that you have to pass through a lot to get to that. But if they could be open and say, either when you come service from the government, either to give us some small loans so that we could do, but finding where to start from and getting the right place where we can get this service also gives us hard time. I don't know how government can help us to see that we really get to this point where we can find that if you need, like on my side, I have equipments, but the equipments are not enough because of the bigger. I have really a bigger market, and this market needs that I have more machines than what I have. But if I can really get some help from the government, and they give a loan that I can give, like I can get like 2-3 machines more then I pay back slowly by slowly. Then it could help me, because I'm also doing some work which is helping government to get taxes. You see, I have a team of the youth whom I'm training. I'm training the youth in the mechanics. We start with the basics of the mechanics, then we take them through, then we get even to higher levels of training them. We have grades. So by so doing, I think I'm also helping the government to see that if these youth become equipped with that knowledge, then they and pay taxes. So by so doing, I think I am also doing some good work for the government. But I would also need that if I could get more help from the government, because these youth that I'm training, in fact, I don't charge them. I'm just training them so that they also work for me as they learn. But if I could get a chance that the government can support me so that I can even employ more of the youth, you see, I employ them on the basis of training them. So I employ to train. In so doing, I think if I would get more support from the government, then I would increase on the number of the youth that I train, so that I also support in giving them knowledge. You know, knowledge attracts money. So by giving them knowledge, I make them able to get money and also be able to pay taxes. But the challenge I'm finding is that I have these boys, I have to feed them, I have to train them. Sometimes I don't train them from one. Some of them need to learn mechanics and others need to learn how to operate the machines. So for those who learn how to operate the machines, Bali and other machines in Kasese, you have to move them to those places at your own cost, because you want them to learn. And because this youth doesn't have money, I don't really charge them. I just help them to get that career. You see, we have our machines like now, the bulldozers, in fact, we have mostly Caterpillar and the Dynapack. So these machines like Dynapack we got from Sweden, the Caterpillars we get from Japan and Dubai. They are very good machines. So these machines have helped us to reduce on the downtime of the customers. So by training our guys, you find that other customers might come. We request our customers that at your time that you have paid, give us extra time to work for you for free as we train our guys. So the machines really work for 8 hours normally. But after the 8 hours, we can use some more time as we work for our customer to train the person that machine. The customer might be affected that we are using his fuel, but at the same time, we are doing his work just because of his fuel. So we find that the customers are at ease, they don't really complain about this. But the challenges we get is that we have to move these students that we have to the so, and it takes time for somebody to become very fluent in operation. For the operation, it might take shorter time, but for repairs, it takes quite a while, because we have to take them through the basics first, then the actual technology of how the machine operates. Because to know how to repair the machine, he has to know that from the time you start, what happens so that either the bucket can move, the wheels can move. So somebody has to have that knowledge, so that when the wheel is ready to move, he knows that the transmission has to come from the engine to the pump, to the valves, to this place. So if this has failed, then possibly the problem could be around this place. We also have the IT system for checking the faults on the machines. So it helps us so much to reduce on the time we install the gadget. We use the computer to rectify, to find out where the problem is. So that system also helps us to reduce on the downtime of finding out what the problem could be. So, and this system will give you exactly where the problem is, so that when you go to that thing and rectify, you accomplish the work immediately. So this system has also helped us a lot. But you know, as an individual, I induce in a lot of money just to get that little that I get. Like these systems costs a lot. I have to train people how to use it. Then because the customer might not need that somebody has just come to learn how to use the machine, I mean this gadget on the machine which is on a breakdown, yet it is costing him time. So sometimes when the machines are not working, you have to put in the fuel to train these guys how to use this thing, and it costs a lot, and by so doing you don't gain money. So when we import these things, we pay taxes, but sometimes the taxes becomes hectic, and you find that there is nowhere you can get a loan easily from either government enterprises or those other entities. Which so I really could appeal to the government. You see, sometimes when we import parts, we bring to the warehouses, we pay taxes, then they say there is another government enterprise, either it is called National Bureau of Standards, that kind of thing. After you simply tell you pay 10 million and take your parts. So by so doing, because when I bring in my parts, I say I get a profit of 12% or 15% from each part. Whatever they increase on that, I will also increase on that, so that I get my 12% percentage of profit. So you find that at the end of it all, the user is being really affected so much. So I would appeal to the government that if, like that UNBS, if they have to see that the part is genuine, then why should they charge you the money for entering that part in Uganda when you have paid the taxes? That really could not be the way it is. In this business that I'm doing, the vocational, you know, these vocational skills, like what we are doing actually in the repairs of these machines, I train them, but I train them on free basis, so that when they come to learn, when they are really, they feel that they can do it on their own. Others can even quit and they go and do it on their own. So when they when they reach where they can consult us, we give them support. We advise them on how to do it when they are working on their own. So you find that we are actually doing some good work, so that we can also, because what we are doing it on a smaller scale. But if we have the support from either government or other entities which can feel that what we are doing is good to help the youth to develop skills practically, if we can get support, we can even employ and train more of the youth and reduce on unemployment. By training the youth, we find that they also go and train others practically. So it doesn't end on us training them. They also go and train their other partner, other individuals that they might work with. Because you see, in this field, you cannot work alone. When you want to work, like they get his own, and you find that what we are doing actually is beneficial to so many others who are down there, whom we even don't know. Like when we train the operators, we train them on our machine, they go and get jobs, but where they are working, they also employ like the turnmen, then they train them, those people also learn out, and we continue like that. So our chain continues like that. So I would like to thank our partners that we work with, the government entities that employ us. You see, we are working for some ministries of government. Really, they are doing good work for us to make us develop. We do the work for them, they pay, but we would also like to advise those others who feel that when we give them services and they take long to pay, it becomes their money. So that we can like to thank UBC for giving us this airtime, and also to call us back again so that we air out what we have, so that we can be heard from other people who did not know us before. I thank you so much, dear listeners. I would like to give you our contact at the office. You can reach us on 0772 66 99 20. I repeat, 0772 66 99 20. or 0704 322 073. We are located in Kisenyi, Mwanga 2 Road, plot number 1304 and 1305. Thank you so much, dear listeners. May God bless you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Uganda Next, there will be temporary traffic flow changes along a section of Benchwanka Street and Entebbe Road as indicated below. Benchwanka Street shall be temporarily closed to vehicles accessing the city center. Traffic flow from the city center will be redirected via the Entebbe Road Kampala Road traffic lights. Traffic from the old taxi areas to Clock Tower Junction will use Siki Road. Traffic from Clock Tower to the city center will use the reopened Entebbe Road, left-hand side. Cyclists should strictly follow the traffic flow guidelines through the area to avoid accidents. Pedestrians are advised to only use the provided walkways and designated crossing points. To minimize traffic congestion during the period, motorists are advised to access the city center through the following optional roads. Road through Mukwano Road to Chitigum House Junction. From Usafi Roundabout, Mengo Hill Road through Kafumbe Mukasa Road to other connecting roads. During this period, motorists are advised to note that Benchwanka Street will not be accessible via Clock Tower or Entebbe Road. We appreciate your cooperation and do apologize for the inconveniences caused.
I'm Atoa Ronald, supervisor at Chiteria Presidential Demonstration Farm, Maige District. We train farmers, we handle interns. There are some people around who have emulated what we have been doing at the farm. They have been given the testimony to have improved their earning and standards of living. So for those who are there out who have never been at the farm, we welcome you. Nothing with you. Come at the farm, have a study, then you can choose the enterprise you think.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Hello everyone, you're watching Business Africa. My name is Asha Samput and welcome to our new edition dedicated to the continent's business and economic news. More details later, but first, today's top stories. The Ivorian economic capital is continuing to modernize its infrastructure, necessary for its development, but
well, we would like our government to divert the underground passage. It's so simple. It's cheaper than killing 150 families, which is maybe 1,500 people.
Overpriced electricity generators with plenty of sunshine. Somalia finds a way to break the vicious cycle with electricity. We have to encourage Somali people to use solar electricity and its advantages. It is favorable and good environmentally. Benin tackles climate change and floods with an early warning system.
We often have floods with no warning.
Economic progress sometimes imposes heavy social and human sacrifices on the population. This is currently the case in the Ivorian economic capital during the construction of roads and transport infrastructures. We look at the construction sites. A report by Mark Kamara.
Buildings around the Abidjan urban underground construction have collapsed like a house of cards and have continued to fall apart over 37 kilometers inside Abidjan. The inhabitants were asked to leave their homes without any notice, claimed this widow, driven by fear for her children's schooling. For her, it is her whole life.
We are worried. Where should we go with our children? Even if I could ask my parents to help me, you know, everyone has their own properties. These are my grandchildren. They can't be enrolled at school. Where do I go with my children? I can't go against the state. But I wanted to stress that they are the people of law enforcement. I've been here for 40 years.
Near the camp of the 43rd Infantry Battalion of the French Navy in the seaside town of Port-Bouët, more than 150 families are concerned out of a total of 13,000 households affected by the project. The local residents do not intend to give up. They have formed a collective to defend their rights and interests.
In our meeting with the Minister of Transport, he told us he could not go beyond December. I took it upon myself to say to him that our children are in school, our grandchildren are in school, and they have the right to be educated. So if the Minister cannot go beyond December before evictions or the departure of residents, what happens to our children, our grandchildren? Today we ask, well, we would like our government to divert people. It's cheaper than killing 150 families, which is maybe 1,500 people.
Around this project to decongest and open up the suburbs of Greater Abidjan, the despair among the inhabitants can be strongly felt. According to this 72-year-old pensioner, 2 people have already died since this announcement was made in her area.
You see this lovely lady in the picture? When she heard the announcement on August 23rd that we must vacate the premises on August 25th, she couldn't stand it. After a nervous breakdown, we buried her. We ask the public not to abandon us. We are his elders and he must not leave us in the streets.
Numerous road and infrastructure construction projects are underway in Abidjan. And according to this architect, they should transform the Pearl of the Lagoon's silhouette.
Abidjan is already reviewing all for the Greater Abidjan that was planned. The urban metro will contribute to the aesthetics of the city. As architects, we shape cities. Any building we create, whether a residential building or a building with a functional purpose, commercial or whatever, it's necessary to provide a new image for the district.
Transport represents the third major expense for Ivorians. According to a World Bank report, traffic jams caused the country to lose nearly 5% of its GDP in 2017. The Ivorian Company for Managing Railway Assets assures that all those affected by this project will be compensated. According to the company, this project offers an economical alternative to...
Despite all the infrastructure built in recent years, the underground comes on top of the various solutions implemented to increase mobility in the city of Abidjan.
Accroître la mobilité de la ville d'Abidjan, et qui dit mobilité dit forcément performance.
And mobility necessarily means
gain de cause.
Everyone will be successful as soon as these people come to us with reliable documents.
Avec des documents fiables. J'en parle parce que, notamment en ce qui concerne le foncier,
I say this because many own land but don't have the documents to allow us to recognize.
The Abidjan Urban Underground should be operational in 2025, which is good news for users who should represent more than 500,000 people per day.
A week before COP27, the major annual United Nations event dedicated to the fight against climate change opens its doors on Sunday in Egypt for a fortnight. This is the first time it is being held in Africa, and I will have the pleasure of giving you an overview from Sharm el-Sheikh with Business Africa reporting team. The continent's countries are already preparing to defend their positions on the solutions to be favoured to achieve carbon neutrality. South Africa, for example, will unveil its plan to attract power stations and produce electric vehicles. African airlines are struggling to recover from COVID. While they have resumed traffic on 99.2% of the routes they operated before the pandemic, the same cannot be said for passengers, according to figures from the Association of African Airlines. Meanwhile, in Somalia, the World Bank estimates that 11 million people have no access to electricity. Diesel-powered generators are the primary source of some of the world's most expensive energy, costing around $1 per kilowatt per hour. But now, thanks to a solar power plant on the outskirts of the capital Mogadishu, these costs have fallen sharply. A real boost for the local economy. Take a look. For many residents of Mogadishu, access to electricity has not only been prohibitively costly, but also a heavy price for their health and comfort. Huge diesel generators blaring the whole day, while emitting thick smoke coupled with high electricity bills, was too heavy a price for many. However, a new solar project pioneered by Beko Lighting Company in Mogadishu is gradually transforming energy production and costs.
Beko has been started in 2014. At that time, the whole city didn't have any power system. What I'm saying, power system, everything was low voltage. Right now, we have 11 kV system, 33 kV system, substations, almost like any other city in the world. Diesel is high, more than 3,000 hours of sunshine per year.
The Mogadishu-based company recently signed a $30 million contract to generate a hybrid 35-megawatt contract. This comprises 25 megawatts from solar and 10 megawatts from battery. It also operates 500 transformers to boost distribution of power. As a result of these investments, the solar project has already brought a huge improvement in people's lives.
We used to power up generators which produced 5 megawatts, and it was very noisy and polluted the air.
The burden of access to cheap and reliable electricity has now largely been lifted from the shoulders of many consumers. Big consumers such as hotels, which used to suffer high overheads because of costly power, have seen their monthly expenditure come down a great deal.
Beko now provides the most reliable and cheapest electricity. Previously, it cost $600 for electricity for my business, but now the rates have gone down. I pay less than 20 cents, and for a more powerful supply. Before, Beko charged $1.2 per kilowatt, and with that, we could not use heavy machines for the hotel business because of the rate. But after they installed the solar system, we have reliable and powerful electricity, all the machines, to run our hotel services properly.
You know, the biggest challenge in Somalia when it comes to green energy, I can say, is the financing. You know, the biggest problem we're facing is the international financing, not the local ones. Like we are using Salam Somali Bank in Somalia, but if we try to deal with the international companies and international banks, we are getting a lot of problem because, you know, most people, when they hear the word Somalia,
Somalia's recent history.
The solar energy project is huge, and it's one of the biggest ventures that Salam Somali Bank has undertaken. It's an ongoing project, and we estimate it will cost millions of dollars of investment.
According to a study by the African Development Bank, Somalia has a solar power potential in excess of 2,000 kilowatt-hour square meters. This is, however, in contrast to the fact that only 16% of the population has access to electricity. We have to encourage Somali people to use solar electricity and its advantages. It is favorable and good environmentally. I mean, Somalia faces drought and floods after they misuse the environment. The main challenges of using clean and green in Somalia is lack of knowledge of green energy, and they don't know it takes time to introduce it. The ultimate goal is to phase out diesel power generators and adopt cleaner and greener options with solar energy on top of the list. This direction will not only ease the burden of high electricity overheads, but also contribute to reduce environmental pollution.
When we finish the solar project, the dependency on diesel generators will be reduced. And our clients will get the lowest price for electricity. As you can see, when we were using diesel, the price was always very high.
With access to sunshine throughout the year, investment in solar energy in Somalia can be a profitable venture and a safe path towards green energy. However, limited access to credit, reluctant international investments, and security challenges still inhibit robust adoption of solar power.